Greetings once again, movie lovers, to another video on the Asian Film Marathon. Today we're going to talk about a film that really did surprise me in terms of how much I actually enjoyed it. And again, as I said, this is another video on the Asian Film Marathon, so if you haven't seen any yet, be sure to check the videos in the links below or that are coming up on the screen now. And I hope you enjoyed this video and the other ones if you decide to watch them. So, let's dig in. 3 Iron is a Korean film written and directed by Kim Ki-duk, who has also made other films such as Spring, Summer, Fall, Winter and Spring, which I might add is great, and Payeta. The film follows Tae-suk, whose only possession is a motorbike, who puts on takeaway menus on people's doors, and then later goes around and checks to see if these doors still have the menus on them in order to break into their homes and stay in the residence while they are gone. He is not a thief, but simply uses the appliances, furniture, among a few other things to maintain himself, so he is a grifter. While in one of the homes, he is unaware that he is being watched by a young woman by the name of Sun-hwa, whose husband is not home. Sun-hwa is an abused housewife, and the film explores the relationship between this grifter and Sun-hwa. The plot seems very simple, and it is a straightforward film to watch. However, the story that Kim Ki-duk tells is full of poetic messages and metaphor. The first thing people are going to notice, and might have heard about already, is that these two characters never say a word to each other. Other than the dialogue from other characters, which is often the arguing of other families, this plays out like a silent film. The phrase "actions speak louder than words" could not be clearer, and the expressions, body language and visual imagery tell the story beautifully. At first, it may seem gimmicky to tell a romantic love story totally without words, but it is pulled off with great honesty and perfection. It is never overly sentimental, and you get a real sense of the story just through how the characters look at each other and how they're framed within the camera. The performance from the two are so natural and poignant, and often heartbreaking. A simple gesture, a small smirk in the mouth, makes such an impact that you wouldn't expect, thanks to such great acting. Kim Ki-duk's film is relatively complex for how simplistic the story may seem. In this story, we often get a bridge between reality and fantasy, and to avoid spoiling, I won't elaborate on this until the end of the review. What I think makes it a rewarding experience is how it's open to interpretation. The film truly is a riddle, and with the lack of speech, you're constantly trying to tap into the mindsets of these characters and their psyche and who they are. Sun-hwa's backstory is easier to guess, as it is established through the fact that she has an abusive husband, and you kind of get the sense that she may have regrets of her life decisions in her past. However, Tae-suk's backstory is a really big riddle, and aside visual clues and such, it is really hard to decipher what his backstory is, and that's what the audience has to do. There are so many questions. Why does he drift home to home? Is his family dead? Does he feel disconnected from the world? With strong performances, the cinematography backs this up beautifully. While not as visually stunning as Spring, Summer, Autumn, Winter and Spring, Kim Ki-duk understands how to use the camera and how to set the mood. In Sun-hwa's home, we get a sense of entrapment. When they go out in the world, they're like birds out of a cage. In some scenes, the lighting becomes intimate as they grow closer to one another, and all of this is what makes a great movie, and it all reinforces the feelings of the characters and the narrative. Before I go into some details that would spoil it for those who have not yet seen the film, I'll wrap this little short review quickly. 3 Iron is a wonderful film if you can appreciate the tender love story that it tells, and at the speed that it tells it. It is a slow film, but certainly a rewarding one. It is a rewarding one. It is easily one of my favourite romance films of all time. Check it out, everyone, because I know you won't be disappointed. Feel free to skip ahead at the time code on screen right now to avoid the spoilers. Some extra thoughts are on my interpretation of the film. Towards the last 30 minutes, it started to play with my head a bit, and for a second I actually considered that it was all in the young girl's head, but then I realised how stupid I was being, because I know the husband had interacted with the young man and whatnot, so it was kind of silly that I thought of that for a second. However, it all makes sense when we come to a close, and we understand what the real meaning of the story is. My take on it is that it's a story of holding on to love to get through life's struggles. In Sun-hwa's case, the joy she got from spending time with Tae-suk is enough to keep her going to overcome the abuse and her unhappiness. In fact, Tae-suk is almost symbolic as we see the Sun-hwa's character develop after she meets him, and she stands up to her husband, and it works effectively. There's a real pleasure seeing her slap her husband's glasses off his face, as you now feel she's starting to gain her freedom. When Tae-suk is in prison, he hides on one of the guards, which to me says something about his character. He is a grifter who seems to have no friends or family outside meeting Sun-hwa, which reflects on the fact that he is like a ghost. He is an invisible force This becomes more apparent when the film shows us the people in the homes that he had previously entered, as the characters talk of how they feel someone is in their house. His presence is almost like a ghost as he enters and goes around unnoticed. At first I felt like it got too supernatural, but in the end it was a beautiful metaphor for this character. There's so much to say about this film, full of riddles, which I look forward to seeing again someday to further understand it. Thank you everyone for staying to watch this film review, and sincerely hope you check out the film. Be sure to drop your comments below on your thoughts and interpretations of the film, because I am very curious to hear what you thought of it. Hope you stop by for more videos, still plenty to go, and I'll see you next time everybody.